Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's class is going to be a fusion of Pilates and yoga designed to open up your heart and your hips. So you can join me here with your left leg in front of your right, or if you want to take it into a deeper stretch, you can take your left leg on top of your right. I have a little piece of grass stuck to my foot. And then just settling in, maybe trying to find where your sits bones best connect into the mat, so the little bony pieces at the bottom of your hips, and then maybe just finding the hands alongside of you. You're going to rest your fingertips on the mat, and then as we breathe, I want you to start to let your palms get heavy and round over your legs as you exhale. And then on the inhale, you're going to start to lift from your heart, almost allowing the air to fill the space between each of your vertebrae and sit you up back nice and tall, letting you come to your fingertips again. As we exhale, we round out. And then as we inhale, we lift from the heart, the palms lift, the heart lifts, the head lifts last. So this class is going to go a little slower than my usual classes, which isn't such a bad thing, right? So being patient, which we can all use a little bit more work on. So just continuing with the breath here, lifting, moving at your own pace, right? Maybe you're going a little bit slower or a little bit quicker than I am. Just listen to your breath and let that be your guide. Maybe even closing your eyes and just holding on to an intention that you want to have for this practice today. So mine is going to be patience, and that's why I'm going to try to go a little bit slower than I usually do. And you can choose whatever you like. And just keep in mind that intention, because we're going to come back to it at the end when we do our final meditation. Inhaling to come up. Let's just do a couple more of these, maybe almost letting the thumbs lift to the ceiling and rolling the shoulders back, maybe letting the eyes come to the ceiling, and then exhaling, letting the shoulders round over the hips, pulling the spine back towards the wall behind you. And then as you inhale on this one, just find a neutral position where you're nice and tall on those sits bones. Now you're going to start to let the right hand get heavy and let the left arm float up to the ceiling, pressing down through your right palm, down through your left sits bone, so almost pressing yourself back, and then just letting the head do what feels right. So looking up or down, it's your choice. And then on the inhale, starting to let the right hand get light and the left hand get heavy. So the left hand is falling down to your side. You're going to start to press into the palm, bend into the elbow. The right arm gets light and comes up overhead. Maybe looking down or up, whatever feels right for you. And then inhaling as you come back through center. And we'll just do that a few more times here. Getting hair, my lips. Take it overhead. Really working to ground that left sits bone or your left butt cheek. And then inhaling to come back up. Exhaling to find the other side. Trying to keep the shoulders down away from your ears. Inhaling as you find center. And then just let that right arm rest. So now we're going to start to transition our movement towards your right side. So make sure you have enough room to go that way. You're going to take your left leg and bring it out to the side so that your legs are in mermaid position or making a Z, right? Really just a fancy term. And then you're going to start to press into your right hand. Take your left arm overhead, the right elbow bends to your side. And then we're going to add rotation down to the floor, back up above you, and then all the way up. The whole time trying to keep contact. We take a nice little counter stretch. Your sits bones are connecting into the floor. Back up and over. And then rotating when you get there. back up overhead, and then all the way in. The next time we go to your right, we're gonna add a little hip lift. So the right arm comes back down to your mat, and you're gonna bend into the elbow, and then this time start to press your hips forward, and then maybe letting the heart open up. You're arching your back a little. I like to rotate my palm up to the ceiling here, and then as you come down, it's one sweeping motion to return back and take your counter stretch. So coming up and over, and then placing the right hand, pressing the hips forward, lifting through your heart, and then bringing it back down at your own pace. So try to come down gently, don't plop, right? Make it pretty. And then one last time here, coming up, we're gonna add on here. So press the hips forward, take the left arm over, take the stretch, and then you're gonna take your left hand and place it down next to your right, about shoulder width apart. Now our left leg is gonna extend. You're gonna press it out, and then maybe adjusting where the arms are. You're gonna press the toes of your left foot down into the mat and start to turn your body so that your hips are squared to the floor and your right knee is hovering. And then we're gonna lower the right knee once we get into position. So now I want you to try to exhale your knee off the floor without moving your hips, right? Challenge accepted. On the exhale, start to pull the belly up to draw the knee up with it. And then inhale, just take a little break. Like you're pressing back through your left heel, reaching forward through the top of your head, almost getting longer to pull that knee up with you. And then release it. Maybe you start to shake a little in your belly. Exhale, pulling up that knee. Good, hold it. Holding here, one more breath. Whoo, shaky. And then you're gonna take the hips up high. Take your right foot, cross it over your left ankle, right on top of the left foot. And then this move is gonna be kind of similar to snake in Pilates. You're gonna take the heart forward, almost undulating your spine or unraveling your spine. You can let the knee rest and lift up, maybe look over your left shoulder here. And then you're gonna start to lift from the heart, lift the hips to follow. And then come back up into that pike. Inhale as you take your heart forward, unraveling, rolling the shoulders back. If you do this really slow, you really don't need to do more than 3. We're doing 3. Take it back up to the sky one last time. You're gonna come forward for the stretch. Maybe squeezing your inner thighs together to keep that support for your low back. And then you're just gonna lift up to a neutral position. So a little plank. The right knee returns. You're gonna slide it forward to find the edge of your mat parallel. And then we start to draw the right sits bone back down. The left leg bends in, and the left arm returns up and over. Whew. Hopefully you followed all of that. Now you're gonna take your left leg, extend it forward, and then get those sits bones level again. I want you to square your hips to your left leg, so just rotating to find it. And then the arms are gonna reach up, nice big inhale. Exhale, folding over that leg, trying to keep the hips and the shoulders as square as possible. And just letting yourself take a rest here. Letting this hip open up. Letting your heart rate come back. And then let's add a bit of rotation. So you're gonna start to press down into your left hand and take the weight off of your right arm as you lift through your right rib cage, coming up and over to face forward. Maybe flexing that left foot like you're gonna pull on your toes and everything's reaching together on that side. And then start to let yourself drop back over the knee. And you're gonna start to roll up from there nice and slow, just letting the hands kind of drag along the way. And sit up nice and tall. And now your right leg's gonna come out. Find your sits bones, wiggle around a little bit. And then the hands come forward. We're just gonna go into a little forward spine stretch. So starting to round out the low back on the exhale, we move the fingertips away. And then on the inhale, start to restack your spine. Again, thinking as if the inhale is filling the space between your vertebrae. On the exhale, start to round, pressing the low back out to the wall behind you. And then inhale, sit up nice and tall. So it's not necessarily about how far you can reach forward with your hands as you exhale and round. I want you to think more about pushing your low back into the space behind you. So we're really trying to get that lumbar flexion. And then inhale, start to sit up tall. And you'll start to bring your left leg in first. And then the right leg either in front of it or on top of it, depending on what way you did the other side. So we're back at the beginning. And then your arms come down by your sides and we start with the breath. We're not gonna do as many here this time. As we exhale, you let the palms get heavy, pressing down into the mat, rounding the chest, rounding the heart and the head over your hips. And then inhaling to lift, moving those two pieces away from each other, the heart and the hips. Right, that's what today's all about, heart and the hips. Exhaling as you round, drawing the navel back to your spine. Inhaling as you lift, maybe letting the thumbs lift as you roll your shoulders back, looking up a little higher. Exhaling, we round back. So even though we started here, because our legs are different, I think it helps to do this again and get a feeling for how your pelvis has shifted. So just getting the other side ready for the movement now. Inhaling, lift it up. Being patient through our breath, or whatever your intention is. Exhaling as you round and let the palms get heavy. And then on this inhale, you're just gonna sit up nice and tall. So moving there the same way, but then just stopping at a neutral position. So nice and tall, and then we pause here. Now we'll start to get our side-to-side movement in here. You're gonna go to the left this time. So start to get heavy with your left hand. The left elbow bends in towards your side body as your right arm floats up overhead, and you can look up or down depending on how it feels for your neck. And then start to inhale as the right arm gets heavy and the left arm floats up, and we go the opposite way. So bending into that right elbow, reaching that left arm overhead, pressing down through your left sits bone, and then inhaling to come back and switch sides. Good. Keeping the hair out of your mouth. Bending into the elbow, reaching over, and then inhaling back up nice and slow. And last time this way, pressing down through that left sits bone, reaching to your right, and then back up to center. And we go over to our other side. So you're gonna start to take your left hand down to the floor, take your right leg around to find your mermaid legs or your Z legs, and then you're gonna start to bend into your left elbow, reach your right arm over. We add rotation down to the floor, and then back up overhead, restacking from your rib cage, and then back up and over, taking a nice little counter stretch. So the counter stretch is always a little bit more challenging for this hip here. Maybe your counter stretch looks a little different, that's okay. It always is changing as you improve. Inhaling overhead, exhaling all the way in, and taking the counter stretch. So on this next one, we move on, adding the hip lift forward. So you start to press down into your left, press the hips forward as the right arm sweeps up and over, and maybe adding a little bit of a back extension here. And then start to take the sits bones back down as you come back to your mat, and the right arm comes down, left arm reaches over, and then back to our press. So hips come forward, one sweeping motion, up and over, and then bringing it back down. And you may feel this side differently than the other side. It just depends where your imbalances are and where you're tightest. So just acknowledging what you feel, what's different, how you're connecting into this side, and then back down. So on this next one, we're gonna come up and over, and we're gonna move on, or add on, I should say. So the left hand comes down, the right arm comes over to meet it. You're gonna start to press your hips up, extend that right leg back, and press the hips up. Now we're kind of in a little twist. You're gonna press down through your right toes, lift up your left knee, and then square your hips off to your mat. And then just lower the knee once you find that position. As you exhale, you're pressing back through your right heel, just enough to lift your left knee with the breath. So exhale, the hips don't lift, just the knee does, and then back down. Exhale, just the knee, and then back down. One more time, just the knee, lift and hold it. Breathing, turning on our intrinsic system so you get that little bit of shakiness in your belly. And then we lift through your hips, cross that left ankle in front of your right, and setting up for that little snake version on this side. So starting to lift your heart, almost unraveling your spine to come forward. This time you're looking over your right shoulder, and then bring it back. Inhaling as you're coming forward, squeezing those glutes, squeezing those inner thighs so you don't drop all of that tension into your low back. And then exhaling back up. One more time, bringing the hips forward. And then you're just gonna lift to find neutral here. So press back through that right heel. Take your left knee up. And then you're gonna start to bring that left knee forward, drop it down, send your sits bones back to the mat, and return to your mermaid. Man, right, left, right, blah. I need a minute. Take your right leg out to the side, bringing awareness to where you're settling into the mat, and then you're gonna square your chest off to your right leg. Arms float up, nice big inhale. And then exhale to fold forward over your right leg, just letting the hands just drop into the floor wherever you end up. Maybe flexing and pointing the ankle, the foot. Letting your forehead get heavy, dropping down to your kneecap or your thigh. Letting your heart rate take a minute to come down here. And then you're gonna start to rotate, pressing down through your pressing down through your right hand. Like I said, my mind is like warped right now, guys, sorry. Press down through your right, take your left arm overhead, and find that nice little opening, pressing down through your left hip. And then start to fall back forward over the knee. The left hand comes to the floor, and you're gonna start to roll yourself up, letting the hands drag all the way to get there. And then you're gonna bring your left leg out wide, and the hands come forward. You're gonna start to round into that forward spine stretch. And then this time, let's just hang out. So maybe you can settle in here. Maybe we kind of wiggle the legs into a better position, flexing the feet, pointing the toes, alternating, whatever feels right. And then maybe you can let the elbows come down. Maybe you're just on the fingertips, wherever you end up. Just letting that low back round forward, getting a nice little stretch. And then you're gonna start to reach the arms out even straighter, like they're shooting out past your ears. And I want you to start to press your palms out into your ankles, your calves, wherever you're ending up outside, pressing into the legs. And then just little reaches in with your breath. So exhaling as you go an inch further, inhaling to come an inch out of it. And nobody needs to measure here, you're just gonna feel it. Inhaling to lift with your breath,
exhaling to come back into the stretch. And then you're gonna start to walk your fingertips. How slow can you go? Coming back to your center. And then as you bring yourself back up to the top, you're gonna start to roll yourself down and zip your legs together. So you guys can just continue this roll down. I'm gonna swing around so I don't hit my head. All right. And then just rolling down. Good, and then find where you can hold it. So a little bit of your sacral spine pressing down, heart is lifted. Now you're gonna lift from your heart as your arms come up past your ears. So just finding a little back extension, hinging from the hips, lifting with your heart, and then on the exhale, you're gonna round back down into that halfway, little bit of a pubic bone curl here. Inhaling to float back up, lifting, rising to the tops of your sits bones, and then even further forward with your heart, and then start to exhale and bring it down. Good, and then maybe you go a little further for this last one. You're gonna lift from your heart, open it up, taking it forward of your hip crease, pressing through those heels, and then round and come down all the way to your mat. Maybe getting a nice little spinal adjustment along the way. And then you're just gonna bring your right knee in towards your heart. So moving mindfully. Just give it a hug here. And then I want you to just draw some gentle circles with that knee. So just guiding it around within the hip socket. Using your hands and your breath for support. And then you're gonna start to pull the knee, the right knee across to your left side and come into a twist. So your right arm's gonna open out to the right. You can find where those shoulder blades lay flat, and then turn your head to look to your right hand and just breathe here. Letting the breath sink deeper into a deeper twist. So every time you exhale, think like you're being wrung out like a rag towel. And all that water that's wringing out is all of the breath, all that negative energy. And then see if you can extend your right leg out straight. And just maybe let the left arm hang out, right? One more deep breath here. Again, patience, finding patience in our body's ability to wait out a stretch. And then you're gonna bend the knee in, take it back over top your hip, give it a hug. And then you're gonna send that leg out straight along your mat. Maybe that side feels a little bit longer now, hopefully. Now we're gonna take the left leg in, give it a hug. And then just guiding that knee in some gentle circles, moving in the direction of your choice. Kind of stirring the pot here, bringing blood flow into your hip. And then you're gonna take that knee, bring it across to your right side. The left arm's gonna open out to a T, and you're gonna look back to your fingertips as you take this nice little stretch. Think about the top of your head being pulled to the wall behind you, giving you more length in your neck than you thought was possible. Breathing here. And then let's see if we can extend that left leg out straight. Ooh. Hello, IT band. Welcome to the party. And then just breathing. Maybe 2 more deep breaths here. Just holding on to the stretch a little longer. And then you'll bend into that left knee, start to bring yourself back into your mat, left knee over the hip, give it a hug. And then you're gonna extend that left leg out along the mat, just noticing how your body feels here. So close your eyes for a moment, feeling the changes that have come over your body in the last, I don't know, however long this class was, 20 minutes or so.
Just feeling the awareness that's been brought in by your breath, and maybe some new stretches that you weren't aware of existed before today. And then I want you to go back to your intention here that you said at the beginning of the class. Maybe you have a new intention, maybe your intention shifted while you were working out, while you were moving, and that's quite all right as well. So just holding on to that intention, that little bit of mindfulness, the goal, right, whatever it may be for you. I want you to bring your hands to your heart, and with it, bring your intention, right? It's something that you hold near and dear to your heart, and we're going to physically bring it there. And then just feeling the intention be absorbed into your body, into your being, solidifying that intention for your practice today. Drawing the breath down into your belly, and then letting go of every bit of doubt, fear, things that hold you back from making that intention a reality. Breathing in your intention, breathing out your doubt. One more breath like this. We inhale deeply into the belly, filling up with that intention, overflowing with your intention. And then exhale, let go only of your doubt. And then gently start to bring your hands back to your sides. Allow your fingers to curl. Allow your toes to drop out wide, relaxing through the tips of your toes to the top of your head, and feeling just maybe a new appreciation for your body and yourself today. And take the next few moments here to just relax. And you can choose to stay here and continue this meditation as long as you feel that you need to. Right? This is your workout, not mine. I'm just your guide. I'm always open to suggestions from you though. And then if and when you've had enough, you're going to start to bring your knees into your chest. Maybe keeping your eyes closed a little bit longer. And then just gently moving the knees around in a circle, bringing a little bit of love and a gentle massage into your low back. And then we'll reverse the circling, giving ourselves a chance to be nice and balanced today. And then you'll give your knees one last hug, just, give your body so much love. And then gently bring yourself to one side or the other. You can choose. I'm gonna go towards the camera. And then I want you to take a moment here. This is your seed pose in yoga. You're gonna bring your right hand to the floor in front of you and just grounding into the earth, just give the earth one thing you're thankful for today. And it can be as detailed as you want it to be, but just one thing. And then start to press through that hand and bring yourself up nice and slow to a comfortable seat on your mat. And bring your hands to your knees or wherever you like them to be. I'm gonna go to my knees, that's where they just wanted to go. And then just give yourself a moment of gratitude today for making the time for yourself, your health, and your overall well-being. Your body will only thank you for that. And thank you so much for joining me today in your practice. Have a great week, guys. Take care.